Dirt Farmer Jay here from dirtfarmerjay.com. I'm going to show you one of 5 different methods of how to wind up a cord. This is called the daisy chain method. Stick around and I'll tell you all about it. Hey, Dirt Farmer Jay here from dirtfarmerjay.com. This is one in a series of video episodes that show different cord winding methods that trade professionals use around the world. Now, this particular method I call the daisy chain, but as you can see by this list, there are lots of different names. These are all names that have been submitted over the years by your fellow viewers of what they call this method. Now, I will tell you, this is one of the most controversial methods for winding cords, and I'll tell you why in a moment. But we've had some really strong comments of people that say they really don't like this, and I've had other people that say this is the best. They've used it in the trades for years, and it didn't matter whether they're union electricians or non-union, heavy construction, home framing, etc. There are people that love this method, and there are others that dislike it. Well, I'm going to show you how it's done, and then we'll discuss the pros and cons. Well, let's get to it, okay? All right, so the first thing you need to do is play out the cord, plug in both the male and female end, and then stretch out the cord to find the long point or the halfway point of the cord. And at that point, you can mark it using a durable marking tape or a tag or that sort of thing. All right, now that you have the halfway point, all you're going to do is create this little noose like this, fold it down, and grab the two like this and pull through. And when you do, that's what you have. I'll do that one more time for you. Create the noose at the halfway point, fold it down, reach through, and there you go. There's your first loop. Now, when you do this, don't do little bitty loops, especially if you bought a cheap cord, because you're gonna end up with a lot of loopy-loops and it won't lay flat when it's cold. So use larger loops, something like in that range right there. And then what you're gonna do is grab another one, pull, put it through, switch your grip, and grip that. Do you see the loop starting to form? Grip, pull through, grip, pull through, grip, pull through, grip, pull through, and right on to the end of the cord. All right, we have now got it wound up. How does it unwind? Well, this is where a lot of people get into trouble, and especially if you have somebody else that's not familiar with your cordage, the way you wind it, they tend to grab the wrong place, pull it apart, and you end up with a series of knots. Like any of the cord winding methods, you need to know how it was wound so you know how to unwind it. And in this case, the last place that was pulled through was this right up here, this big loop right here with the plug in and plug out. And once you undo that, notice what's going to happen here. I can take this and start winding out the cords like this, and it'll just come unwound. And there you go. So now you have this all pulled out like that. Before we get to the pros and cons of using this method, I want to remind you, when you first buy your cord, always buy the best cord you can get. We really like this Watts wire cord. It is an exterior rated rubberized cord that'll actually oil resist. Really like the feel and the texture. It's very soft, and so it's going to stay pliable even in lower temperatures. It's not cheap, but it's a great cord, and it's an investment in your craft. Okay, once you have a better cord, when you first buy it, it's gonna come coiled up just like a hose is, or in a series of loops with a sleeve around it. The first thing you need to do is get it out of that packaging, lay it out in a warm place, perhaps on a lawn out in the sunshine, or maybe on a driveway or sidewalk. Let it sit out there for about an hour and really soften up, get warm, and to lose the memory from the packaging. And now you're ready to play it out and to use whatever method you want to. Okay, let's talk about those pros and cons. Well, the pros of this kind of cordage is, several tradespeople says, when I wind it like this, other people don't mess with my cords because they just look at it and go, I don't know where to begin. Of course, they know the secret. You just always unwind what you put in last, which was the cord ends. Secondly, another pro for this is that we've had some people that have said they've used this on the docks or in gang boxes where they need lots of cordage waiting. This will hang in vertical layers, and you can oar down flat and they will never intertwine. So you could have 50 different cords like this and they won't get hooked into each other. You can just pull them out one at a time and use them. So those are both pluses. The other thing is you take a relatively large cord, that's a 50-footer, and I've now put it into something about this size. It's got plenty of loops that I can hang on something like that. So that's another plus. So that might be a reason that someone really likes this. Now, full disclosure, what are some of the cons people hate about this? Well, I've had some very strong words directed towards us as a result of us publishing about this method previously. And I can understand some of your angst. Well, here's a couple of the complaints. One, in low temperatures, this is going to have a tendency to not lay flat. So you're going to have loops, which could become a trip hazard. Number two, exactly what we just talked about. It's daunting for new people on the trades or someone that's been called to fetch and get a cord and they try to play it out, they grab the wrong end, knot it all up. Number three, we've had people say, well, you're asking for an electrical fire. That's going to create a lot of resistance if you plug it in. No cord is meant to be used all coiled up, including cord reels and cord buckets, and you'll find the ratings on those are dropped for the amount of wattage that they deliver simply because of the resistance of the wire and smaller. So this is not meant to be just pull out as much as you need like this and then start plugging and playing because all the rest of it's still there. You could do that. It's risky. If you're doing a moderate amount of power on it, it's probably okay, but why risk it? So those are some of the cons that you're going to see. And that's fair disclosure. Now, if you'd like to see 4 of the other methods that we talk about, you can check out the description below. Take a look down there, and we've got links for each one of those. And you can also check out this video right here that shows one of those methods. And while you're at it, check out this video that YouTube thinks is perfect for your interest, created out of our catalog for you. Hey, thanks for tuning in today. Until the next time, this is Dirt Farmer Jay from dirtfarmerjay.com.